Hey there. Yeah, I was home and I was just thinking about playing around with Amazon Q. My son is taking an Accounting 101 class and he was struggling a little bit of trying to understand the concept of perpetual accounting and periodic accounting. And I mean, honestly, that's a challenge for me. I took 101 and 201 way back in my college days, but I was thinking that's a little bit tough. So building an app that could help maybe my son test his knowledge and being a little bit criticized of what I know and what I remember. And so, of course, it's like a good idea to test with that. So I came up with an app with Amazon Q, which has Claude 3.7. And so I was looking into that, and it's pretty easy commands. Amazon Q on their website describes how to be able to put that together. So I just want to give you, if you can see my screen here, give you a little demo of what I've built. This is the terminal, and so it's called Ghostly. So once you've got that installed, I'm trying to run it. So let's see what happens here if I do that. Start with Q chat. And this is now ready to be putting together a few things. I did give it some text that I had ready here. So say I would like to build an app that can teach someone accounting 101 who could properly enter debits and credits for a hypothetical situation where a company sells its products, has inventory costs, sales of goods. I'd like to test the student to see whether or not their knowledge of perpetual and periodic timeframes while doing the accounting entries. And those entries should be entered using a dropdown so that they do not have to type it all in. I would also like to do it in quiz mode with 10 different scenarios, and you could mix those simple scenarios with complex scenarios, and then please use this doing uh, view and deno. So that is a TypeScript package. So I will explain a little bit more after I run this. So now it's thinking. So it's saying it's going to help me build an educational application using Vue.js and Deno. I'm wondering if we can do that. It says make a dir, and then it's running with a new folder. And then there's different apps using Vue that are being taken into account here. And then it says click Y. It looks like it's also doing the deno that I asked it to do. And now it's thinking, sending the token, running it, conceptualizing all of that within the app. And so the Y is here to say yes. So I'm a data engineer, also just to let you know, and I have zero concept of Vue or using Vue or really using Deno. So I'm just trying to see, seems like people out there like it. So I figured I'd give it a shot. So now it's building these various components. You can see the HTML and whatnot. This is looking back, to old school PHP, C Sharp, ASP.NET, all of these different things now, right? So it's looking through, I'm thinking back to those days. So yeah, my son, I wanted to challenge each other's knowledge about this, and at the same time wanted to give him a little bit more practice. So I thought this would be cool to build an app for that. If you can see here, the different answers and the questions that are coming through, putting together that framework, setting those standards, and then have some more complex scenarios pop in. Looks like it's still working. Now looking at the generation of the HTML, which is nice. So far, so good. We'll take a look out of curiosity here. So you can see the different options here, accounts receivable, inventory, various things, equipment, accounts payable, receivable. Yeah, so there's a lot of different options here. Uh, it's kind of a mind dump. Might be a little too much, but we'll see. We can give it prompts and then tweak it to make it more simple or more complex to have all of these various options. We'll see what it looks like. And it doesn't know what I'm thinking, right? So it's just creating everything you're doing again, like these prompts here. Doing that all again will give you different answers for sure. So I tested it, I'm trying it, and then we can tweak it as we go. It helps to have a background in development a little bit because with the code, you know, production and all of the configs, you can look into those configs and then tweak things. If you have no idea what the code is looking like, it's probably not necessarily understandable of what you're doing, but if you do have a base knowledge of that, you can use the prompts to go back and forth. And it's quite nice because as a developer, you could go into the config or you can go into the JavaScript or the various files and be able to tweak those to match your needs specifically. So the reason why I was wondering, if AI, the reason behind this is really nice because it can replace, not necessarily um, replacing developers, but you can develop these things. And if you have an experienced background with code, then you can put out various things here using AI, and you still would need to understand and look through the JSON, right? So you're seeing this now. You would still need to understand a bit of how it all works and what the JSON is for example. Like a background in development, can then lead you to utilizing AI to help out with that. So it looks like there's a few different, don't look at the answers, uh, but it looks like it's generated a few answers for me here. And then uh, my point is when you see the JSON here, you can install it yourself and then be able to do various scenarios being added into the mix and making that easier. ID 1 to 10. If you wanted to add the 11th, you could. Maybe you want to go through that through AI as well. But what's nice is that you can also do that yourself. You don't need to have AI fix the things for you. Once it generates the initial stuff, you can then generate more after that on your own if you'd like. And so it looks like it's finished. I think the app has been designed and here to teach accounting principles. That all looks good. And it's using Vue and Deno for the backend server, Bootstrap for the stylistic look of it. Bootstrap is, pretty common standard look of things that are out there. You could tell it to say, like, you could say, I don't like Bootstrap, I prefer a different library. And you could also do that. And so the AI will then decide what it wants to use. If you'd like to run the standard task in Deno, you can start that here, and then it will use what's listed out here. So let's run it and see what happens. So now it's describing the usage, the creation of the app. and the various overview of features, how the project is structured, and the focus tree. You can see that here with all the different things. Wow, it's pretty amazing. It just like throws it all in here. And so now I don't need it to explain the app in more detail. So I say no, thank you. Um, let's just ask it to start the Deno task to start the app. And then you click Y, enter. So it's telling me how to start here. Deno task start. So it wants to switch to the appropriate folder and then click start. So let's do that and see what happens. Fingers crossed that it works the first time. So it looks like there's a task error, syntax error rather. Let's see, what's the difference here? Doesn't seem different, but okay. Let's see what it's complaining about. Looks like the same. Okay. So it needs to confirm writing the file to the system. I think it's just playing it safe. So this should be okay. And you can see localhost 800. Let's see. Let's see what that error is. It might be a pre-compile. Remember, I don't know anything about Vue, and I'm not sure what it's doing, but can tell what the error is from that localhost 8000. So we can copy this and then tell Q what the error is. So let's try that. Looks like I have to get out and then get back in, basically kill Control C and then go back in. So type that in, paste it, and then let's let the AI do its work and see what happens. So it says, oh, okay, I see the issue here. Let's see, it looks like it's fixing it. It has to convert the router function. Remember, again, I have no idea what Vue is, seriously, and how it works. So I'm just clicking through this here and hope for the best, right? Doing its thinking. It's exciting to see, what's going on with AI and things coming into the picture. Really, there's starting things off. One of my friends from a sign language tech uh, guy, his name is Malad. He would do like, 5 minutes to an hour versus a week's worth of work on an app, right? And it's pretty amazing. There might be, maybe it's good, maybe it's bad. I don't know, but we'll kind of see how things go in the long run with all of this stuff. Maybe, if you're building an app and then the scaffolding might not be exactly what you want, you have to rework a little bit of it and, kind of group it into different ways that you might prefer. And so I don't know if it'll be, completely 100% positive the whole way, but it's really cool to be able to see the magic coming in and being able to create these apps. Get the use out of it right away. and kind of using AI as a shortcut, right, to create content for you, or you can have it with the right prompt engineering, where you would have something like whatever you have laid out in the right terminology and various things. Wow, it's still working. So it looks like it's tweaking a lot. That seemed like that one error was not a big deal, but it looks like now there's a lot of changes going on. Interesting to look at. So we'll see what happens with it. But anyway, back to my point, talking about creating an app, uh, trying AI for those purposes. There's pros and cons, and there's obviously a lot that we don't know. But right now, if you see kind of how it's building all of that code, and it's getting kind of towards the end of, how do I want to say, what would you call it? The work of setting up all that scaffolding and the variables and your preferred style and all of those things that, can be a lot of work and mind numbing to a point. But using AI, it seems like it's ready to start again already. Fingers crossed. Let's see. We'll try it. Hey, there we go. So we have the accounting information here. Awesome. Move my image and my recording out of the way. So it has perpetual. It's decided to do that perpetual or periodic accounting here. Um, it looks like it decided on perpetual for this. Um, give me a hint. I didn't enter anything. If I didn't want this hint option, I could go in and clean it up and take it out, but it automatically did that, which is pretty cool. So let's see. We've got all these options here. Pick inventory. Let's say 5,000 worth of inventory. Maybe it's cash, maybe it's payable, accounts payable. We'll see how it does. Okay, so it looks like debit or credit are our options here. And let's put in 5,000. Let's see which one here. Let's do accounts payable. Let's do credit and 5,000 also. Let's test it and see if it's right or wrong. Hey, looks like we got it right. Awesome. Now to the next. So I'll pick some with errors as well to see what it does. I'll make this the wrong answer. 5,000 and 5,000 should match, right? So let's see. If I do 2,000 here, says it might, it added this. Wow, that's amazing. I never asked for it, but it just came up with this option there to give me an error. So we'll see if I do 5,000. So of course this is incorrect. So I'm wondering, how do I fix that? There's no option to fix it. Let's see. So there's no way for me to click fix or to see the review correct entry or try again. There's nothing there. Um, so we can go to the next scenario though. So this is now sold things to a customer on an account, meaning that it's not cash yet. So we'll do accounts receivable here and then debit, and let's say 8,000. So now the cost of goods, it says, was 4,500. So let's put that in here. And then let's see, what else can we add? Sale, cost of goods, and let's do sales revenue, credit, and let's see, we sold 8,000 worth, received on account, meaning it's not cash yet. So 8,000 cost of the goods sold, recorded at the time of sale. So let's say we don't know for sure. So let's say that. And then I'm not that great with accounting, but it is a challenge, right? So that's the point. Let's see here. It has to balance out, right? So debit, credit. Let's select debit and payable. Sold goods means it cost me, let's see, 4,500. So let's try with the 4,500 and then 3,500 via credit debit. Let's change this. Maybe no, change this one here. Let's see what happens. So it needs to be reconciled. Okay. Doesn't like it. So debit credit has to be equal amounts, I think. That is a bit weird. Let's remove one of these. And this sales revenue, let's see, 3,500. Change that. Okay, so you can see there's 8,000, 8,000, and then 4,500 twice. So it's accounts received and then revenue, 8,000, but then the cost of goods sold and inventory. This would be for a perpetual system. If it was periodic, it'd be a little different. So anyway, this was just something really cool that I wanted to show using Amazon Q chat, which was pretty nice. So we can go back to the terminal here and the app. You can see the task and everything that happened. My thoughts are really that this is a great tool to start off a project with. If you have something here that you want to use, for example, like a situation where you're not sure of the code or the language or where to start, I would say put something into Amazon Q, put a prompt to it, and it can generate for you, giving you an idea of how you can then continue on yourself to build on your own, or if you wanted to use it as a template, essentially, to get started with something. So this is great. Yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope you had fun.